Michelle, and welcome to the Sisters Sanctuary podcast.
Today we will be talking about the earth chakras,
Portals
portals,
and
and
timelines.
timelines. Bear with me, we're getting better at this. Okay, so today I'm going to let Misha get us started and we're going to start talking about the chakras that are found on earth.
So, the first one we're going to talk about is the root chakra. Um, it's located in California in Mount Hesta. Um, it's an active volcano. You said it was a tree.
It's Mount Shasta.
Yeah, that's what I said.
And Misha, she's saying, I'm going to talk about that after, but yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So, it's believed to be the center of the earth, which is why they call it the root chakra. Um, the root chakra it grounds us. It's a symbol. The symbol of it is like a lotus flower. It's red. Um, and when it's in balance, we feel safe, strong, and committed to what we believe in. When it's out of balance, we feel unsafe and unavoided of conflict. But the mountain itself is known for its beauty and mountain range and peaceful spiritual presence. It's regarded as the base or the root as the earth's energy and regulating of life and acting as a geyser of the active energy within the mountain.
Now, Mount Shasta, as you all know, is in California in the United States, and the mountain range out there is beautiful. I've been to Yosemite. However, we all know that California is also where all of our actors and actresses and all of this negative thing, the negative stuff that's been going on, is affiliated with a lot of people who live out there. So I think dark energy has been attached to that area for the reason of blocking us, blocking the earth at that root chakra.
Correct. But it explains why there's so many different energies within that state, within that region of our country. Don't you think?
Yeah, in California.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you get into the mountains and stuff, you can feel it's so beautiful there. The energy shifts, and it's funny how Hollywood put their name across the mountain range.
Right.
It's almost like they were casting spells because we all know Hollywood means holy wood, and they would use the holly. They use holly branches to make magic wands and stuff with. So people affiliated that word with what they were doing, casting spells and
But
stuff.
it kind of explains why the world's root chakra would be there. I mean, it's beautiful. The land itself is beautiful. And it does hold a certain kind of energy. Actually, it holds every kind of energy within that state. If you think about it, it's good, bad, in between, every kind of energy.
And you can tell how unstable it is. It has so many earthquakes over there.
Right.
Like the San Andreas Fault. We have family who live out there. I'm always afraid they're going to be caught up in those earthquakes. And look at what's going on there with even politically. It's divided between, those political systems. So it's just showing you what state that they have been keeping the root chakra in, because if we don't have a foundation where we feel safe and protected, it's going to affect all of us energetically because it's affecting the earth that
Correct.
way. Yeah. And then let's see. So Michelle had said that it was a volcano. It's a dormant volcano.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I have my own beliefs about all these places we're going to be talking about. And I believe all volcanoes once were giant trees. And we're going to go through some of that, but we're going to go through this first. So I'll let Michelle go on to the next
The
one.
sacral. Is that how you pronounce
Yeah, the sacral
it?
chakra.
The sacral chakra is located in
Titicaca.
Titicaca,
Titicaca.
in Peru and Bolivia. It is in the lower hip area. When in balance, we feel connected to life's greatest gifts. We have a sense of adventure adventure. It's home of, they call it the Island de Sol, which is in our language, it's called the Island of the Sun. It was also the home of the Incas tribe at once upon a time. There is an ancient temple there, though, that I really want to touch on. And it's completely submerged in water at the base of this mountain. So that's really intriguing. I would love to see something like that.
And that is what part of the world?
That is in Peru and Bolivia.
Okay.
And within that part of the world, in this chakra, it holds both male and female energies, and it represents basically our sexuality. Um, it governs it governs our emotions and ability to enjoy life when in balance. It's our creative side, and it's able to produce our greatest gifts. Actually, we feel connected to life, and then on the other spectrum, when it's out of balance, you basically feel closed off from the world, from your creativity, if that makes sense. But anyway, it's located in the middle of Peru. It's it's Peru and Bolivia border, so it goes right down the middle. And this chakra is said to believe to regulate all species on Earth and evolve their evolution process, evolution.
Oh, the
process.
evolution process. So let's talk about the past and what's happened out there. Now, the deity that used to be worshipped out there was called Viracocha, and Viracocha was the great creator deity. So he was a deity that helped teach people how to create. So that's definitely attached to that sacral energy where we give birth. In the woman's body, because it's associated with the sexual energies, and the
Right.
male body, creativity, where we create from our bodies, is in that area on the earth. So that would be where her womb is, where she creates from. Now, the Inca were there, and I wanted to talk about in the Inca world. Now we know eventually a lot of these cultures, they were once good, and they followed a moral standard for their civilization. And then eventually there started to be all of these sacrifices. So they started killing, decapitating, they would have wars, and they were the blood would be poured over their religious sites where they did their ceremonies and stuff. This is another way that the dark has interfered with the earth. So in her womb center, they were using blood from people who they were killing. So that blood held fear, and they were putting that type of energy into her system. So that's another way the dark has tried to control not just us, because they control us through that chakra as well, but they were controlling her. Because the earth is a deity. Well, the earth is a being. She has a soul, and she was also put into bondage and tortured as well, just like we have been in bondage and tortured throughout our lifetime. So I wanted to see if there was something else you said. Oh, now you talked about the island of the sun and the
Yep.
temple underwater. So around that area, around Lake Titicaca, probably there's we believe that under the water there is
A temple.
a temple.
It's a temple.
And during this time that we're going through these so-called last days, that temple is gonna a lot of these temples and places that have been hidden underwater are gonna come to the surface.
They're going to rise.
Yeah, and we're gonna start seeing them.
So when Gaia, Gaia, when Gaia rises, I think that's when she starts her journey. That's when a lot of the stuff that has been hidden for quite a long time will also come to light too. Um, Kind of like a path. You know what I mean? That the earth takes. But I wanted to touch on too, it's not just humans as far as the sexuality, it's every living thing on earth that's in this chakra that we're talking about right now. It's in the animals, bugs, it's in every living thing. Which goes back to like a mother giving birth of earth.
And so this is the place where that energy from her body is
Right.
generated. Yep.
So the next one we're going to move on. The next one is the solar plexus chakra. It's located in Europe,
Uluru.
Uluru. You can pronounce the next one too.
Uluru in Australia. And where are we at? And Kata
Kata.
and Jutarat.
This one's in Australia, so I don't want to pronounce it wrong. So if anybody from Australia is watching, please tell us how it's
I have
pronounced.
Ayers Rock,
Um,
actually, and it's probably the same thing we're talking about.
and its formations is in, like I said, Australia, but these two are 18 miles apart. It's called the House of Soul, and which is in our stomach area. So,
A solar plexus.
yep, and it's yellow in color. It gives us integrity and a higher purpose, like confidence and higher purpose to one's life path, basically. And it's where we manifest from. So, when you think you're manifesting, I know a lot of people usually think, okay, I'm manifesting from my mind. That's not really it. You're really manifesting from your soul because it's something that you're wanting, I guess you could say, huh?
No, it's actually
In life.
it's
So,
generated from your solar plexus.
right.
That energy.
So this chakra, um, it has to do with wisdom and processing emotions, acting as a makeshift umbilical cord to the planet and maintaining life all around the world. So basically, I just said it all in one phrase because basically that's what it is. It's like an umbilical cord that's tied to Earth and that's tied to this part of the Earth.
So you look at our body, it's the same thing. So this the area of the solar plexus is really the seat of our soul. So just like on Earth, this is the seat of her soul, where her soul sits. And we know a lot of stuff has been going on in Australia. They not too long ago, during all the lockdown, and there's been a lot of rituals going on at in Uluru. They've been private, and so
Really, I didn't know that.
they reported them, but it's the Aboriginal people of that area who have been doing these rituals. Now they have been guardians. They've been made guardians of this area. I'm going to try to pull up a picture. If you can't see us for a minute, just we're still here, okay? Because I don't know if it's going to prevent y'all from seeing us. But I did pull up some pictures because I wanted people to see. Just bear with me because now I can't find it. Here. And this is Ayers Rock right here. Okay, let me see. I'm going to bring it to the screen. Okay, so
Oh, that's beautiful.
this is Uluru. And notice how the top of it's flat here. Now, there are other pictures, and you guys can go and look for yourself. But I believe a lot of these structures are old trees. They went and this just like you would saw down a tree, and just like the tree stump would look, it looks just like this. Now, another thing about this area is that the Aboriginal people have their own customs and mythology about the area. It's a very sacred place. So I feel these areas are also portals. So all of the chakra centers we're going to be talking about of the earth, just like in our bodies, these are portal systems. So I'm going to remove this and I'll let Mishi go on to the next one.
Okay, the next one is the heart chakra. Um, it is located in Glastonbury and Shaftesbury, located in England. It's green in color, and it's where healing takes place. Um, in the heart chakra, it is our center of love and forgiveness. And when it's out of balance, we feel closed off to love and we hold grudges. So to get things back into balance in this chakra, the meditation is one of the best things you can do to get yourself back in balance with any of your chakras, actually, I believe. But this chakra it's a dual chakra. And like I said, it's located in Glastonbury and Shaftesbury. It's two towns in southern England. They're 30 miles apart. And according to some, the heart chakra expands all the way to Stonehenge too. So if you take those three those three towns and you draw a line from town to town to town, it actually creates a, a triangle effect.
And I think Stonehenge is in Shaftesbury. I know it's 30 miles from,
Glastonbury.
yes.
So a lot of stories have come out of these places, like the King Arthur story, um, the resurrection of Jesus, Joseph,
Amaranthia, Amaranthia.
and other. Some note that they believe it could also this chakra could also some believe that it could also be in Hawaii, only because the Halakha volcano, the energy from that volcano is said to believe to be on the same frequency as a human heartbeat. But me personally, I believe that it is in England where they say it is. Only because they say that's where St. Michael's.
I'm going to try to pull it up. Hold on. So remember, if we blank out, because I don't know what the video is going to do, but when you go live, I don't know if I can present this. I had saved a picture, and let me see if I can find it. Mount Shasta. Here it is. Okay, hold on. I'm going to bring it on up. And on top of that, this is a Getty image. On top of that is St. Michael's Tower.
So, which is my guide. So, and I honestly believe that this um, is where his tower is. This is his place. So,
So the St. Michael ley line also runs through this center here.
right, which, like I said, is the triangle effect. You know what I mean? So if you tie all the towns together, that's what you'll get. You'll get the triangle effect. Um, and it's where a lot of the old stories took place, the resurrection of Jesus, and like the ones I mentioned, the King Arthur story, and all the stories have come from this origin of the country. So
And if you can see St. Michael's Tower, see it has a doorway right there. Like it's a big arch open doorway. Like you can walk through it to the other side. Like I believe this place is a portal as well. And where it takes you, I'm not sure. But if it's related to
St. Michael, then yes, I think it takes you to
that where the archangels are,
correct,
to his world. So wherever that
because his energy would be tied to that.
Yeah, to that
area. Tower. Yeah.
Yeah, and see the terraces on these structures. I believe these were old trees. These huge trees. We have a lot of trees in our folklore and our myths, and volcanoes. Even the way they erupt, I think these trees had so much energy. Their root systems go down into the earth. So all of these channels are created through the roots. So when the trees were destroyed and the root systems died off, I believe it just opened up passages that allow the lava from inside of the world to flow up through them. So I just think this was a byproduct of the chopping them down and destroying them. And let me see. And we should know how to pronounce the volcano because we are Hawaii. We are part Hawaiian. So, but in our defense, we were raised in Louisiana.
So forgive us for that one.
Yes. Okay, we're gonna take this off, and Michelle will go to the next one.
We're gonna go through to the throat chakra. That chakra is located in Egypt and Israel. It's light blue in color. It projects truth, outstandingly and inwardly. It's where we find the confidence to speak the truth and express creativity without fear of judgment. even seeking and needing approval when in balance. Um, we value truth for the truth's sake alone. The throat chakra is not just one location, though, but a combination of three important sites: the Great Pyramid of Gaza in Egypt, Mount
Oh, Sinai.
Sinai in Egypt, and Jerusalem's Mount of Olives. Um, that was the one with the triangle.
Yeah, I think it's this one
Anyway,
that makes
yeah,
the
that was the one
triangle.
that made the triangle effect. I'm really sorry about that. Should have read the notes. Um, but even that one, it symbolizes voice and communication. Some consider the unrest in the Middle East to be the cries of a mother or Earth's way of calling out for her help. So if you connect those three in the triangle effect, um, these are very three important places too in our world.
And the other thing about this area, like I'm gonna pull up a picture of it in a minute, but it has been fought over for so long. And in my presentation I did at our event, we talked about the Holy Lands, and it's got the Dome of the Rock there, and it's got the Holy Sepulchre. There's a church there, but I was
It's
so
got the pyramids there.
the
It's got
the pyramids are triangulated to this area as well. So even though they're in different areas, they're both located um, on different types of I don't know about the pyramids, but
they even say that the pyramids follows
the ley line.
like the cosmos, the
Oh,
Orion's
yeah,
belt.
it's
You
lined
know
up
what I
to
mean?
Orion's
Yeah.
belt. But also the stuff that's been coming out about the pyramids, the Giza pyramids, is like the structures that are underneath it. So I think that would tell us more of the story of what they were actually using those structures for. So people tell us that the pyramids were to generate free energy. Some people say that they're portal systems that they would use to because they were triangulated to Orion system, that the pyramids had a portal that would take you to Orion, to that system.
But if you think about it spiritually, even being the throat chakra and all the unrest that's been within that region of the world, it kind of makes sense that that would be where the throat chakra is. You know what I mean?
Okay, we might be going blank again. Hold on. I'm going to pull up an image. I wanted to show people. Let me see. This one. Okay, I'm going to bring it up. Now, look at all of the structures in this area. Notice the other areas we looked at, there was no structures on it.
Right.
So what really surprised me, and I'm gonna bring up another one, hold on. Surprised me is that they have built
Small
so
olives. Oh.
they have built so many hold on. This one. Look at this. This is another. Look at all the buildings here. There's a big old graveyard right here, and then there's the Dome of the Rock there, and then there's all of these other churches and buildings. So why would they do that on the throat chakra of the earth? You know, to me, it's
To silence.
and if it's coordinated to the pyramids, which are portals to Orion,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like there's a bigger story here that I think we need to understand.
Right.
And I agree about the silence. They're fighting over this area for a reason. They want to be the ones who control what the earth. What did you say the throat chakra was for me? Like it's
What do you mean?
like it brings
It's for truth. It's for truth and creativity. Judgment of seeking and needing approval when judgment or even um, value, basically.
so judgment
So,
is interesting.
yeah,
Hmm.
it's for judgment too. It
Yeah.
projects the outwardly and inwardly where we find the confidence to speak the truth and express creativity without fear of judgment or even seeking and needing approval when in balance.
So there's definitely an energy here that people are fighting over. You know, why would they have so many holy structures and then have a cemetery there. And if you look at the type of burial vaults they have, that's full bodies. That's not a cemetery where you put ashes from somebody who
But
has been burned.
if you put, once again, I made the mistake on the triangle thing on the last chakra. It's actually this chakra. But if you put all of this in the middle of a triangle and then you build all this stuff on top of it, what exactly are you taking away from Mother Earth? You're taking away part of her energy, her voice from the throat chakra. That's exactly what you're taking away. And if you notice, all the other ones have no neighborhoods, nothing built around the rest of the chakras, but this one. Um, and this was the one that Jesus fought the hardest for. This area of the world. You
Well,
know what I mean?
this is what the followers of Jesus have been fighting the hardest for.
And it's the Israelites, and it's just you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's constant. It seems like from the beginning it was constant battle over this particular chakra. And I am curious to know, is it because of the energy that they're feeding off of, or is it's got to be of the energy that's coming from Mother Earth?
Well, I think too, like if you think of the earth having a voice, and that's like us having a voice. So they cut off our inability to communicate with her. So what have we seen in the past? We're being cut off from Mother Nature. We're being cut off from the plants and the trees and the animals, and because she doesn't have a voice to communicate with us, those things. So it's connecting us to what? Religion. It's connecting. I think these tombs and stuff right here.
It's connecting us to what they want us to connect to, not what Mother Earth itself wants us to connect to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But also because the pyramids are a portal to Orion, I think a lot of the people buried in this area are meant to bring their souls back to Orion because this is where they buried. So there's a lot going on here, more than we're probably,
touching on
right now. So, but we're interested to hear any feedback from y'all. So hold on, I'm going to take this off, and we're going to move on to the next one.
Okay, we're going to move to the third eye chakra. Now, me and my sister have both heard different things about this chakra and the last chakra. So let's go over this one real quick. This one is also located in Western Europe, dark blue in color, and it's the chakra located right in the middle between your physical eyes. This is where we create our own reality throughout our beliefs and whatever we choose to see in the world. When it's out of balance, we can feel overstimulated and clouded with thoughts that don't feel like our own. When it comes out of balance, like I said, the best thing for it to go back into balance is meditation and stillness. So the third eye chakra is the only chakra that can shift locations on the earth. When I did my study on it, this is what it said. So the two, it's like in a rotation on the earth, of the earth on its axis. Also, it's referred to Aeon Activation Center. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Okay. Yay. I said it right. Yay. Aeon Activation Center. And the chakra is believed to move every aeon and or new age. This chakra is also coordinates with the constellations according to astrology. We are currently in the age of Aquarius, which is determined the third eye would be in line with the heart chakra in England. When we move to the next astrological phrase, the age of Capricorn, the chakra is expected to move to Brazil. So each astrological age is to believe to be the last. It lasts approximately 2100 to 2500 years. The third eye chakra provides strong recognition and awareness, as well as clear thinking and vision, by bringing together rational knowledge and intuition.
So Yeah, Michelle mentioned it was blue, so it's that indigo blue. It's not the same blue as the throat
Right.
chakra. That's a different blue, but it's kind of like that. It's got a little purple hue to it. It's that indigo. It's beautiful color. But I'm gonna bring up. Let me see. See, in my when I was studying on it, the information I got was that the third eye chakra was located in Tibet. In China, it's Mount Mount Kailash, and Mount Kailash is, according to Michelle's information, was where the crown chakra is. So we're going to be going back and forth talking about it. So, um, in this area, and y'all know that the Tibetan monks, that place was taken over by China not that long ago, and all of that information that those monks were guarding the temple over there, um, they got moved out of there, and China
So
took it over.
so let's go over
Well, hold on, I'm going to try to bring a picture of it. Go ahead, you can keep talking.
the both chakras. So let's put the third eye chakra and the crown chakra together. Um, when I was studying it, they said that the crown chakra was located in Mount Kailash, Tibet. Um, it's purple in color, but it sits like a crown on top of your head, and that's why they said that it's considered the place of the crown chakra instead of the third eye chakra. Now, when Julie did her research on it, they said that it's where the third eye is chakra. To me, this is where the crown chakra is because it's the closest place in the world that is closer to the divine, is why I think it's the crown chakra. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but why would it be closer to the divine than like in Jerusalem or something like that?
Because like in height, I mean, it's
Oh, and then size.
22,000 feet tall, and also, excuse me, and also the Tibetans that live there. Um, this mountain is considered a spiritual sacred mountain. They won't climb it. They won't even attempt to climb it because they say if you do, it's bad.
It's bad luck.
It's bad luck to do so because it is the will of
The divine.
the divine's will is put into this mountain. So
Now, in India, this mountain is very holy because it's said that Lord Shiva and his consort live in this mountain. That it's a dwelling place of the Mahadeva, who is Lord Shiva. And the thing, I've I've tried to find information on Lord Shiva and where he actually comes from. But when you start looking at the spiritual books, you know, from India and the stories from the Mahabharata and the Bhagavad Gita is the books that he's mentioned in. Like he is actually a dark blue skinned being, and I want to know. Like I know these beings were here, and but I know that only a few of them were here. Even in Egypt, when we talked about Egypt, you had your green skinned beings and your blue skinned beings, and people say that that was just a representation of their energy, but I don't believe that. I believe there were actually blue skinned beings, and if you look into our starseed history, those beings they say they come from Sirius, um, and even in some of the other starseed information, it says that these are indigos and they come from a higher realm.
right.
And you hear about the indigo children, but actually they're all not children. There's a lot of indigo beings here now, and actually their chakras are said to be the same color as the indigo, and that's how you know they're here for specific spiritual reasons. And the people from not in this area who have climbed these mountains talk about having bad luck happen to them after attempting to. Some of them don't even make it. I don't know if anyone's made it to the top, but there's some kind of force field there they talk about, like magnetic or something that interferes with equipment. So like once again, go ahead and say what you're
So
saying.
so they a lot of the Tibets that live there and their people, they call this mountain the roof of the world is what they call it. So when I was doing my research on it, it's that's what they consider this mountain to be. So that's like I said, we go back and forth whether it's the third eye chakra or
Or the
whether it's
crown
the
chakra.
crown chakra. Um,
But it might be both.
but either way, um, this place is the most sacred place out of all the chakras that we just went through. So
Well, it depends who you. Well, we think it is, but if you talk to someone in Israel, they might think,
Jerusalem
yeah,
or
it's like
Mount
that
Olive
area.
or yeah. But to me, this one in the Himalayas, it's the closest one to God. You know what I mean? That's how I look at this mountain because it's so spiritual. Let me read it. Um, it says that the Tibet people that live there, they won't even climb the mountain due to its holiness. It's considered an offense to the realm of spirituality, and it also connects our will to the divine's will. So, to me, they believe that this mountain is the closest you can get to God.
And I think that too because once again my theory that all these mountains were trees, and that these great trees that we had on this planet, the trees had special powers, like they were so large that they can hold energy. I think the beings that came here used these great trees as portals. If you read the book of giants, and even in Enoch they talk about the giants and the word giants, that all these trees were chopped down, and they chopped these trees down to prevent whoever they felt was the bad. They say to prevent us from reaching. I think it was a during the war of the giants there were two sides against each other. It was preventing them from accessing portals, or for us accessing portals and getting out. And we're going to talk about that more in a minute. But is there anything else you want to say about this one? Okay, I'm going to see if I have another picture of this, Shao. And then we're going to talk about something, the World Tree. Oh, this is Kalash North. Oh, this one? Did I bring this one already? Okay, this is another picture of it. And yeah, this to me, this is not a mountain. I mean, look at it. Even the structure of it, look at the rings around it, as if, you know, and see these rocks here? To me, it tells me something was blown up here. When I went to Reno, Nevada, I saw the same rock structures, and they look like mounds and mountains of dirt. Mountains, they aren't like a bunch of little pieces of something. Just it looked like somebody took a bunch of pieces of rocks and just shoveled them over something.
Right.
I think either something was destroyed in this area, that there was a war that happened as well. So, you know, maybe these beings went inside of this structure and they lived there, and the force field and things are filling around it is so people can't get there. But in the spiritual books, um, these beings are coming back, and they're going to show humanity that they're here and that they're not just mythology. And we're going to talk more about that. So hold on, I'm going to take some of these down because I want to bring up another picture here. Let's see. We'll talk about the world trees. Okay, I wanted to bring this up for a minute. Okay, so we've been talking about the chakra systems, and Michelle just went through and she read where these chakras were. So let me see if you can see my pointer here. So here she talked about Hawaii being part of that sacral chakra, and because they have Hawaii right here, they call it a gate. I think it may be a portal as well. And that volcano over here, I think it's a portal too. They call some of these portals and vortexes, but this is Mount Shasta right here, and this is where the root chakra is there. So then down here, Lake Titicaca, and that's the second chakra. And then here, the yellow is the Uluru, and over here is Glastonbury and Shaftesbury. the heart chakra. And up here is the sixth chakra, the third eye. They're saying no fixed location, but we just talked about Mount Kailash in Tibet and China, which is up here. And then we have, no, I'm sorry, which they just put over the regions. They have the third eye chakra here, that indigo color, the seventh chakra, oh,
The six.
the crown. I'm sorry, I missed six. Where is the six? 1, 4, 6. Yeah, the third eye that they says have no fixed location, and then they say 7 is Mount Kailash in Tibet, where the crown chakra is. But notice when you trace the lines of energy of these chakras, that they come together to form the ley lines around the earth. So this is how the energy travels. So down here it says chakras 1 to 5 are gates. 1 to 5. And chakra 7 is gate 6. And they have gates 5, 10, 11, and 12 are spinner wheels marked with SW. This is down here in South Africa. It's a spinner wheel. Hawaii, like we talked about the tree there, the volcano, they saying it's a spinner wheel. I think it's vortexes. They're calling them spinner wheels. So there's energy. And if you know how our chakras work, they spin just like a vortex. So I think these are part of her chakras and making, bringing the energy to them as well. But I guess the point about all this and why we're talking about this is that we all know that we have chakras in our body. Each chakra in our body is connected to the earth chakras, just like we reviewed. So anything that's done to the earth in that location directly affects our physical body
Right.
here on earth.
Right.
So if you have war and stuff happening in an area, or sacrifice and ritual and all these things going on, it's going to affect us on an energetic level. And it's been a way that they have kept us imprisoned energetically and through our own energy systems. This is how they're able to control, keep us down in the lower chakras, that sacral chakra and the root chakra. They're keeping us down in the lower energy. Why? They don't want us to be able to communicate at Mount Kailash, Kailash with the beings there. They don't want us to have that spiritual awareness that we are spiritual beings.
And the third eye chakra is kind of like a war zone. I mean, the Middle East has always been,
It's still over
yeah,
there.
is it's been nothing but war
Yeah.
over there, always fighting for territory and different things there.
Okay, I'm gonna bring this up. I have a couple more things I want to show y'all. Okay, now this is called the Nine Worlds, and this is the world tree according to Norse mythology. I've been fixated on Norse mythology lately, and I think because if you trace back the gods who are in mythology, like the Greek gods, the Roman gods, I think they all go back, the Sumerian gods, the Egyptian gods, they all go back to Norse mythology. So the Norse believe that we live on a world tree. And Midgard is Middle Earth. And this is where, like in The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, they talk about Middle Earth. This is where we live. This is where we're at. So Asgard, where the gods live, or higher up on that tree, and during the war, something happened. So I think two things happened. I think humans were made and enslaved to serve other beings. Now, whether they were the Anunnaki, the giants, the Nephilim, whatever you want to call it, I believe we were made to be slaves to serve other beings. Now, in the Marvel movies, which I think the movies tell us a lot, they disclose a lot of information to us. Thor actually broke what's called the Rainbow Bridge. If you understand what the Rainbow Bridge is, it's the chakra system in our body. Our chakras form a rainbow. And when Thor disconnected that rainbow bridge between Mid-Earth and Asgard so that Earth couldn't be invaded by these other beings who were trying to invade it. That's according to the movie. You know, maybe they were separating the giants or the Nephilim who were on Earth, and they didn't want them to invade Asgard. That's probably more likely, but I think would happen. Like the lower beings are always trying to, just like in the fallen angels and stuff, they're always trying to get to God's kingdom because
They want more power.
they want more power and they want to rule there. So that rainbow bridge that was broken, which I believe is in our chakra system. So I believe they built a wall around our chakras and stopped us from being able to ascend or even, ascend to this area of the world, of our world, of heaven. This would be heaven right here. But I think that's changing. I think we're coming back into a cycle, and I'm going to show you another picture. I wish I knew how to load these without having to keep going through this, but okay, I'm going to share this picture. Okay, so if you read in the Bible, the earth in Genesis, no. In this diagram, it shows you everywhere it talks about. So Genesis, Deuteronomy, Psalms, and all of the verses are there. According to the Bible, this is a representation of earth. And this is what I want to talk about too while we're closing. So, according to this diagram, earth is here. See this mountain thing here? This is earth, and they have waters surrounding us, and they have the sun and the moon and the stars. Also, there's an underworld, the foundations of earth, and also where we can say is hell. Now, there's a firmament. Now, a lot of people are talking about the firmament. So remember when Elon Musk shot off a rocket and it blew up? We believe he was trying to pierce the firmament because a lot of people are saying this structure is a dome. And this is how I think they blocked us off from heaven. See the heaven up here? On that world tree that I just showed you is heaven, right? They talk about the waters above and the heavenly sea. You know, we do not understand how what space is really made of. We think it's air and we float around in the air and stuff. But according to the Bible, above the firmament, there are waters and there's a sea. Now, when God created the flood to try to kill off all of the evil people, what happened? We think that God opened up a gateway and the waters from above flowed down onto the earth below and created the flood.
The flood.
Now, also, let me try one more thing now. I had a better picture, but I didn't see it, but I'm going to try to look for it because it showed you something that I really want people to understand. And I don't see it. Okay, we'll just have to use this diagram. So in the other diagram up here in the firmament, see these two pillars? In secret societies, the Masons and stuff, they have these two pillars in all of their buildings. So they have names for them too, and I can't remember, so forgive me. But I always wanted to know what the heck these two pillars stood for. Well, there's a door in the middle of these two pillars. This door goes to heaven. So I think these two pillars represent openings in the firmament. That at certain times, Michelle talked about the ages and how the earth chakras shift according to what age we're in. So we're in Aquarius, so they shifted. I think the planetary alignments, the chakra alignments of the earth, the chakra alignments of our body, and by the way, our bodies, our chakras of our bodies and the chakras of the earth are connected to the chakras of the planets, to each of the planets. Now, it's also said, who was the mystic who said this? I can't remember his name. It'll come to me in a minute. But he was the one who would do readings and he would do predictions.
Astradamus?
no, it was another one. Uh, anyway, oh, I can't remember his name, and that bugs me because I know his name. But anyway, when he talks about the planets, he says that each of the planets are part of the Earth, that they're part of her chakras. They're part. So when we come and we're learning in each of these planets, which teach us different things. So like Mars stands for war, and Mars is a lower energy of that chakra. And the reason I'm saying this is when the planets align, like we just went through a 7 planetary alignment, we just went through 2 eclipses.
Yep.
I think we're in a doorway. I think these 2 pillars stand for 2 doorways that open. I think there may even be a third that open in this firmament that allows souls to pass out of it and pass into it. And that is happening now. I believe that is what's going on. That is why we're seeing more spacecraft. We're seeing more beings on the planet because we have beings coming. And I'm gonna let Mishi start talking about that, like coming here for certain reasons because of this is what's happening during this time, and this happens during that 21,000 to the 26,000. It shifts back into this opening. Okay, I'm going to bring this down, and then we can talk about that, Mish. What's going on with the portal?
So I don't know about the portals, but what I want to say is I don't think that in our time, even when we die, even when Christ comes back, I don't think you either go to heaven or you go to hell. I think, and there's proof that there's seven worlds that we advance to. And I think that when we move to our people, to our world, where our guides are from, um, we actually live in that world with our people. I don't think that everybody on earth is gonna go to heaven. I'm sorry, but heaven is the creator's world. It's God's world. And not everybody's going to be accepted there, and not everybody's going to be accepted into hell either. So if you think about it, these other beings that they see, some people see aliens, some people see angels, some people are seeing demons. If you think about it, you got to know that there is other worlds that they come from. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And
And this tree right here, I showed you from the Norse mythology. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 would be heaven.
8 would be heaven.
Like these are all worlds too.
Exactly.
This is in the Norse mythology.
So they say that in those worlds, within that rotation, the earth descended. It let's give an analogy. It fell from grace, basically, is what I'm saying. So in order for her to ascend back up to where she belongs in the rotation with all those other worlds, is what we're saying. So if you believe in that, if you believe in all these other worlds, which me and my sister do, um, we believe that each world has a different species to it. So when you look across, we were going to talk about timelines too. So when you jump a timeline and you see another being that you've never seen before on Earth, um, that being is probably from another world, from what?
Keep on. I got my show on.
From another world. It could be
Okay.
from any other world of the 7 worlds is what I'm saying. So I don't believe that once again everybody goes to heaven, or half the people go to heaven, half the people go to hell. I believe that there are 7 worlds in between each. And a lot of us that are here on earth are actually from those worlds.
Yeah, I know it's hard to understand. That's why I like using visuals. So let me see. This was created by Christos Avatar, and I actually bought this diagram from him. Now, according to Ashiana Dean, whose work I have studied, that this is how the worlds are created, and it's very hard to see. So I'm gonna try to explain it. So this is the particle universe, and this is the universe we live in. This is the antiparticle universe, and this is we have a doppelganger there, but the beings are made up of spirit. They're made up of different types of crystalline energy. I hope I'm saying that right. Um, so I think of them as our higher selves. Like they call them doppelgangers. They look like us because they're our higher selves
Right.
in this realm. So this would be a heaven realm. This is the Phantom Matrix, and the Phantom Matrix is where all the fallen beings went, and you can look at that as the Hell realm as well. So if you notice that all of the dimensions, she has them numbered here, and each three of the dimensions make up a different area. So when Mishi is talking about seven realms, there's that we have lower realms and higher realms. Um, Now there was a war that happened in Lyra, if you know the mythology. So they talk about the war in Lyra. We were at the 13th, between the 13th and the 12th realm. Now, at the 12th realm, the worlds were disconnected from the 13th. There was a door put there so that beings couldn't enter there because a lot of darkness came to these lower realms. There were wars, they were destroying planets, and a bunch of stuff. We became physical, and we started having all these experiences. And but what I'm trying to say is, depending on which density we are in, like where we're from, like the angelics and the archangels are on different levels in there. The indigo beings, the blue beings are at different levels there. The different races of beings that are represented by the colors of our skin are from different levels there. We all come from a different place, but we come here fighting over who was here first and whose species was, the dominant, and all. It's just a bunch of division and stuff. However, what we're trying to do is ascend back up through those realms. But when we're done here, if we do it right, those doors are opening. We're going to have the ability to go be with our star families. Now, we've been having experiences. Like I knew a week or so ago, a week and a half ago, there was a big shift in energy. We could feel it. It was almost like it was on a high for a little while, and things kind of went black for a little while. Like just it was, and a lot of people online I've been notice this shift in energy as well.
The energy's just been all over the place lately. But
So
we were outside. Is that what you're fixing?
yes, yeah,
So we were outside. What's today? Friday. We were out there Wednesday.
yeah, I think so.
I think it was Wednesday.
Tuesday or Wednesday.
Tuesday. It was Tuesday. So we were out there Tuesday, and we're talking about the different worlds. Um, my my gift is I can see into the spiritual world. I can talk to the guides of different worlds. Um, anyway, as we're sitting there talking about it, my sister has some woods behind her house, and we were sitting in two chairs on her porch, on her back porch, just talking away. And I happened to look up at the sky, and I was telling her I noticed a cloud that was in the sky, and it wasn't a sunny day, but it wasn't.
It was like it had some clouds, but it wasn't fully covered.
Right.
Like we
And-
could still see the sun and stuff.
And anyway, we started looking at the cloud that was passing, and I was telling her, I said, "Look how it's changing forms," and it was changing forms like every 3 seconds, and it was that quick. So she had said to me, "Well, think of a form and see, and we'll see if it changes into that form." And I thought of a princess, like a Disney princess in my head. It just popped up in my mind. And sure enough, it formed into that. So anyway, we started kind of laughing about it.
And before you keep, they also the colors. Like we noticed, this cloud was rainbow colors,
Yeah,
and it was weird because like it had three little clouds dotted around it, and then it had this other cloud coming up from,
following it.
and then it stopped, and it stayed where we can see it instead of moving out of sight, and then it was changing into different shapes. So we were staring and watching this for a little while. Okay, you can tell me what happened
So
after that.
so after that experience, we kind of laughed it off, and we were thinking, wow, that was pretty cool. So when we went back to our regular conversation, the woods behind her house, we see tree spirits in her woods all the time. Don't get me wrong, but the minute we looked at the woods behind her house, it was like almost a psychedelic.
You know how black light, when you go into a room with a black light and the pictures light up because they have that fluorescence.
Yeah, you had the deep purple hue, the deep fluorescent pink hue.
Mhm.
I mean, it was all different kind of majestic colors, basically, to me, if that's what it was. And so I'm asking her as we're sitting there looking at it, I said, Julie, do you see this, or am I the only one seeing this? And she's like, oh no, I see it. So, and then, just like the cloud, there was things that were actually starting to take shape within those colors. So this is the whole point of this story that we're talking about right now is that I think what had happened was we jumped a timeline and we started to see behind beyond the veil that is over the earth. And it was a beautiful experience. I
So we
mean,
were peeking through to the other side.
exactly. And then after it happened, it left us with a feeling of, for me, it left me with a feeling of awe.
Mhm.
Like I almost wanted to cry because it was a very beautiful moment. And
Sort of like a psychedelic trip without the mushrooms. We weren't doing
and
any
that's what
drugs.
she said. So
Like it was like a psychedelic trip. I've done mushrooms before, but it was.
so it
Oh,
to have that experience, I want to go back to the timeline thing. I think that in the future, in the days to come, a lot of things are going to start jumping on different timelines. So I heard that there was an actual island out somewhere that actually woke up. And when I came here to my sister's today, I had mentioned it to her, and she's like, "I was just watching a lady on the internet the other day, and she was saying the same thing." So I think that a lot of things that were laid to rest long ago is now going to come back online.
so what are we saying when we say woke up? So a lot of these places are shaped like beings, which I think were the Titans. They're dragons. There's all kind of beings that, if you look at the earth, that they were petrified. Um, there are islands that are raising up out of the water that have been under the water. So a lot of places the seas have gone backwards. And they show that on video on a lot of the channels.
A lot of pyramids are being found right now.
Yes, they're finding them.
A
And
lot of lost temples are being found right now.
yes, like they're starting to let us know about things that have been that are happening. And Trump is supposed to be having a World's Fair this year sometime. And the World's Fair, what they usually do is they divulge technology and things that are new, for people. And I think a lot of this is, if they still do it, it's gonna show people like the technologies that we've always had that have been hidden from us, so we can bring those technologies back. Um, Edgar Casey, that's his name. That's the mystic's name. Who was going to remember his name? Because he talked about this too. But he also said that some of the areas on the earth were going to be destroyed and things. But I think that was on another timeline. So I do think, like we live by the Gulf of America. I used to call it Gulf of Mexico. That I feel like there's something under there, like something that's going to rise up out of the water. So I think off the coast of Florida, there's something else out there. In other places, I think the same thing is going to happen. Things that have been hidden from us are going to be revealed to us that are there. And did you want to add anything else to that story?
No.
I think our guides asked us to communicate with everybody that the reason these beings are starting to gather. So now that these portals, doorways are open, our family, our starseed families are able to come in. Now, there's other negative beings that are coming in too, but a lot of them are being chased out of here or made to leave. And then there are beings trying to leave. So I think the dark is going to try to escape through there, but that's between them and God. Now, the families of those star beings that are here are gathering. I think they're eventually all going to end up at these places we just talked about, these chakra centers, these vortexes around the world, these religious ritual places, these holy places. To some culture, they're holy for a reason. And the cultures who lived there were left there to be guardians of this place for a reason. So we feel that these beings are coming back, and they're affiliated with the beings in that place. So, like Australia, the Aboriginal people, their starseed family affiliated with them is coming back, just like Hawaii and stuff like that. And they're for the people who have an open mind and a pure want to know the truth, do the right thing, are going to be able to communicate with their families because they're here
For you. They're here. I don't want to scare you by saying or for you. What I'm saying is they have come here to gather their people back up. If you open your mind and your heart and even your soul, all your chakras, if you open up all your chakras and open yourself to them, to your guides are here to guide you home. Um,
because we have been trapped inside of the firmament, like I just showed you. We've been trapped under that bubble, and they have not had access to us, and they couldn't communicate with us. So we got stuck here.
and it's truly a spiritual awakening is what it is. It's just instead of for one person, it's going to be for all of earth basically. In the I don't want to say in the end, but in the times to come, you're going to have a choice. You're going to have a choice as to not tap into your guides or your energy or to know where you're truly from, or you can stay here and believe I don't know what.
You can believe that there's no such thing as other beings or
Right.
other star seeds. You can believe that this is the only life you're going to live and you don't have a soul and you don't continue on. Those beliefs will keep you stuck inside of a paradigm
Correct.
that you are going to create. So the awakening is to awaken your mind to the truth of things that are out there, that we come from other places in our universe. And we came here for an experience, and our time is over.
You see, a lot of people say that every human being on earth has a guardian angel. I don't know why they call them guardian angels. I call them guides because not everyone is an angel. Um, Everybody has a different spiritual guide. And if you tap into that guide, you will know where your people are from, where otherworldly is where you're from. And it's not really that hard to kind of figure out. Like my sister's been a healer her whole life, so naturally you would think that in her otherworldly life that she is a healer. Now she has had past lives where she is a healer, so I'm on a totally different spectrum because in my past lives, um, I'm always at battle. I'm always at battle, even in this life. It's like ever since I was little, I've battled my whole life. And then I started having visions and dreams of my past lives where I'm constantly in battle. Um, my people, my guide is Saint Michael. And why? I think it's because he is one of the highest guards of God's kingdom. And what is Saint Michael? He is constantly at battle for us. So in that realm of the world, I think that's where I truly belong. So I usually don't talk about my visions or my dreams or even my guides all that much. But I think it's coming to a point in time in our world today where they are here and they are asking us to keep an open mind, to tap into into their energy, to know where you're actually from, so you can gravitate to that world. You know what I mean? It's
And I want to say something too. Like a lot of the stuff that we're seeing on social media, like some people are saying the angelics are bad and they're not bad, they're neutral, and because they're fallen families or their families, so they won't do anything to help us against them. And like there's a whole history of things that have happened here. Each of us are from a different place. So Michelle is connected to Archangel Michael because that's where her people are from. That's the group of people that her soul has come from. Now, my people are different. I feel they're indigos, and that's the group of people I am from. So to judge and say, all of these are bad or, all of these are evil is this is an individual journey. And no one's going to tell me or tell Michelle what is right in our own individual journeys. You need to figure it out for yourself. There are people out there saying, oh, they're defeating Satan, they defeated Lucifer, they're fighting, all the stuff about Metatron, which, the AI stuff I'm iffy about too, because I believe we went down a path where we let AI control us. That was a timeline that we are not on anymore. We are on a timeline where our families come, we get to go home. The earth is going to ascend. She's going back to the fifth dimension. Yep. Where she belongs. Another planet will be created and assigned for those souls who are not ready to go to continue to learn from. And this information was brought to us by Dolores Cannon and her work that she's done, and I believe it. It resonates with my soul, and it feels like the truth. So, the truth about the place we live in and our families, and whether there's extraterrestrials or star seeds or heaven or hell and all these things, that is for you to believe. We are just here to share our story. And I'm going to share one more picture before we finish. Now, somebody put this together. They're saying the same conversation I'm talking about. So look at these. These are mountains. These are trees. Same here. This looks like Uluru, or looks almost just like it. See the similarities in these pictures. So one is a mountain and one is trees. And this is what they're trying to show. Like, we need to open our eyes and see what's in front of our face. Okay? Like the world trees. A lot of mythology talks about the world trees. And why is this important and why I'm bringing it up one more time? It's because this disconnected us from those higher realms. These trees connected us. They had the power for us to portal through and go home. In Egypt, they say the pyramids have the ability, the people who use the technology to portal home to Orion. We have this technology. We've had it for a long time. We have been told that it doesn't exist and it's all mythology and make believe. No, we've had this technology for a long time and it was taken away from us. However, now we're moving out of that. We're getting ready those who are ready to meet our families, to go back home or to go back and finish your own experiences based off of your awakening. So thank you for watching us today. We are going through the Great Awakening. It's just not what people have been telling you it is.
Right.
It's a way. It's awakening up to the truth of your soul, who you are, where you come from, and where you're going.
And here in Louisiana, we have like our own little group of women that do
Healing,
different healings,
metaphysical healing.
metaphysical healing and
Mhm.
stuff like that. So if you guys have any questions, if you like the video and you want to talk about something different, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for being here.
Bye.